This is the sign that you needed. If you're asking for a sign, if you needed a sign, this is your video. Go receive help, please. For my sake, Mtase. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, sweetie. If it is your first time joining us, my name is Ingram, and I really do hope that you like, you stay, you subscribe, you share, all of that wonderful stuff. And if you're back and you're better, I love that for us. First things first, I hope you're doing well. So if you're watching this video, I hope you're okay. You know, I know we don't always ask each other like, are you okay? And obviously we all know that this life thing can throw things at us. So yeah, if you have come across this video is a video that I want people down the line to watch when they need a little bit of hope. So in this video, I will be kind of discussing some of the things that I've went through, like mental health issues, my failures, heartbreak, all of the things, all of those types of things. And most importantly, I want to show you guys that you can overcome it, and give you hope that you can rise from it all. Just because right now you feel like you're at rock bottom, I just want to reassure you that now that you are at the bottom, the only way is up. So I do hope that you guys enjoy this video. It is a bit more serious than what I do. I usually am fun and but today I will be sharing kind of something that has been hard for me to share, but I know that it's super important for someone out there to hear this message, because I know that when I was going through things, I would have loved to hear something like this. So yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, like I said, this video is for anyone out there who needs to hear it, that you will get through it, and there is always hope, guys. There is always light at the end of the tunnel, even though it doesn't always feel that way. So I thought, let me share my story of how I have dealt with mental health issues, how I've dealt with failure, all these things coming at me at once, right? So yeah, my mental health journey started when I was in primary school. I didn't know this, but obviously, okay, so when I was in primary school, I went to go see a psychologist who did a report for me, but she gave it to my mom, so I never read it. So when I read that report in about 2019, I realized that I had been suffering from mental health issues without knowing since 2013, which was the first time I went to go see someone, but I stopped because of finances. At that time, my mom was the only person taking care of me, so she couldn't afford to take me to a psychologist every week, right? So then in 2016, I started experiencing panic attacks and stuff. So that's kind of then the first time I was on antidepressant medication, antipsychotics, those types of things. Because with the panic attacks, I was having severe insomnia. So yeah, I hated how the medication made me feel. I felt like I was a zombie, quite literally. So I stopped taking the medication and I kept pushing. But in my high school career, I just noticed that I lost interest in a lot of things that I used to do when I was like in primary school. I lost interest in academics, but luckily I was someone who I always thought I was extremely lazy. I just had no interest though in my academics, but I didn't have to do much. Like, this is not a flex, I didn't have to do much to do well, right? So it kind of then didn't become a problem to me because I was still doing okay, right, in high school. So then I got to university, you guys, and kind of halfway through the year, I just was not okay. To a point where my mom suggested that I call someone at her work, and they referred me to a psychologist immediately. And I started seeing someone, but I think at that time it's because my mom was really forcing me to go see someone, so I wasn't really in it the way that I should have been. So it was whatever. So 2020 came, I was like, I'm great, guys, I am happy. Things, guys, like, I was living at the res that I wanted to live at, because in first year I was living at this horrible place. I didn't like it. So second year, I got accepted at the res that I wanted. You know, I'm in second year medical school. You know the vibes. Like, and I was doing well even. Like, I was on track with my schoolwork, things like that. Like, I was feeling myself in the beginning of second year. Then your guys' dear friend, Miss Kovivi, decided to ruin everything. Everything, guys. So obviously when COVID started, we all had to move back home. And it was just hard, right? I am a child of a single parent, and at the time finances were very, very difficult. I don't think I can go into why, but I'm sure you guys can kind of put two and two together. So things were just shaky, but I was still doing extremely well. Like, online learning, I truly believe that online learning is for someone like me, because I have social anxiety, right? Also in 2019, I was officially not diagnosed with me, telling me and not talking to my mom, diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which my psychologist at the time said that with anxiety likes company. So that's why I was having a very depressed mood. I don't really want to go into what was happening, but I was extremely down. There were days when I would literally stay in my room for days on end, and not go to school, not attend anything. And for me, school's what keeps me going. So when I start struggling with school, like in varsity, when I start struggling with school, that's when I know things are off. So no problem, online learning, I'm like, this is my stuff. I can listen to lectures in my own time. There aren't people in the classroom busy asking questions, and I'm one of those kids who get easily distracted. So every time I was in a lecture, like a sit-down lecture, I was the kid who was making jokes with my friends, things like that. So online learning for me was the ideal type of learning, because I learn at my own pace, at my own time, in the comfort of my room, right? So I didn't think that that would be an issue for me. As time went on though, you know, I was just not okay. But I didn't want to acknowledge it, because I was like, girl, things could be worse. And that's the one thing that you like will tie yourself, like, things could be worse, which kind of made me sweep things under the rug, because I would constantly tell myself that things could be worse, which, you know, it's not the right mentality to have. You know, I mean, it's true, things could be worse, but you have to acknowledge how you feel in that moment. So yeah, at some point then I went back to school. I think I went back to school in like June last year. But with COVID, I went back to school quite early, obviously because I had dissections. So I had to be on campus, right? But I was just struggling. Like, there were days when I couldn't get out of bed. And I mean, I physically couldn't, guys. It felt like I physically couldn't get out of bed. I was not sleeping. I would wake up and I'm crying. I don't understand why. Also before I went back to school, when I was still at home, I was struggling. So eventually I decided I'm gonna take my money and go pay for a psychologist, because at the time we couldn't afford a psychologist. And our psychologist immediately said, she was like, I think we need to admit you because you're definitely suffering from clinical depression. Just after giving her my symptoms, and I was like, there's no way, I'm not getting admitted, I'm not taking medication. Because she was like, I need you to be open to maybe taking medication, we need to refer you to a psychiatrist. I was like, there's no way. And I stopped seeing her right there. She was like texting me like, please come and see me, I'll see you pro bono. And I was just not about it, right? Because she was saying things that were scary to me. Medication, hell no. Hospital, hell no. Because at the time I felt like I don't have time to take a break. I do not have time to take a break. School is saying, hello Sissy, you know, we're gonna start writing on campus again, things like that. I was like, I do not have time to take a break and take care of my mental health. So yeah, I went back to school and I, you know, carried on, but I was struggling a lot and my academics were struggling even more. And eventually our course coordinator sent me an email saying like, the change in your academics is worrisome. Is that the English? I don't know. But they were worried. And she was like, I need a meeting with you ASAP. And so, yeah. I think before that, though, I did start seeing a psychologist on campus. So if you go to Wits, we have CCG and OSS. And guys, I highly recommend. Oh, in the description box, I will be putting numbers that you guys can call if you are struggling. But anyway, so I did start seeing a psychologist, and literally after our first meeting, she referred me to a psychiatrist who immediately put me on antidepressants and something for sleep and something for my panic attacks because they were getting out of control, right? So I was in the I was seeing people at that point, but obviously my academics were suffering because, guys, the side effects of medication are crazy. Like, I felt like a zombie. Like I said, I was just sleeping all the time. I was tired all the time. I remember my jaw was even painful because I was constantly yawning. It was horrible. Like, I could not actually function, and that's why a lot of people will notice or will know that I was off WhatsApp most of last year, off social media most of last year. I think at some point I got Twitter, but like that was, but nobody had contacted me. I did not have WhatsApp, I did not have Instagram, nothing, because I could not function. I felt like I could not be in society. I could not hang out with my friends. I just could not do it, because even when I did hang out with my friends, I would not be okay, right? Which would make me feel terrible. So yeah, eventually I felt like the medication wasn't working. It was making me worse because I can't work. My academics are suffering. And so when I had the meeting with my course coordinator, I let her know what was happening. She was like, okay, we need to speak of options because this is not great, right? So cool. As time went on, my psychiatrist put me on something different for medication because obviously I wasn't getting better. And she was like, it's been like, what, I think at that time it had been like 6 weeks and she hadn't been seeing a change at all. And obviously for me, I was like so defeated because I would try to be like, no, I'm feeling better. And she was like, but are you sleeping? I'm like, no. Have you been crying? I'm like, yes. And it's like, so like asking all these different things, and it's like, so why are you saying you're feeling better? So for me, it was hard for me to acknowledge to myself that I'm not okay. That was the hardest thing for me, is to acknowledge that, dude, you are not okay, right? And so anyway, time goes on, and eventually I hit I hit rock bottom. And my psychiatrist, they booked me into a mental hospital, right? That was like the hardest time of my life, or probably one of the most hardest times of my life. So at that time, then I'm put on a leave of absence from school, and I'm in hospital now. It's quarantine, so I'm like self-isolating. I can't get visitors, so I could not see anyone, not my friends, not even my mom, for that time period. So in my head, I don't know, I thought I'd be in and out of hospital, because also I kept seeing people like, I'm chilling, but people are coming in and leaving, right? So I was like, no, my time is coming, I'm going to leave, right? So in my head I was like, I'm giving myself like 14 days, because I've heard like from people or from my doctors and stuff, they were like, usually we keep people for about 14 days, right, for them to go through the program. And so I was thinking I'm gonna leave, child, that I not spend 21 days in hospital. So what that meant was that I was not able to do schoolwork for a while. And obviously I'm taking medication 3 times a day. I'm put on whole new set of medication. Before I went to hospital, I was put on a hypnotic, which kind of, I couldn't remember stuff. I would sleep and switch off completely. Literally, I would have phone calls. People would call me, I would talk, but the next day I wouldn't remember a single thing that I said on the conversation. So you can imagine how that impacted my studying. Already just mental health, or let me say depression, because at that time I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. So depression on its own causes a lot of cognitive dysfunction. Like, you can't remember things, you can't concentrate, you can't, literally, you can't do things that a student should do, right? So on top of that, obviously depression causes changes in the neurotransmitters that control or regulate emotions. So when your emotions are not in check, different things can cause depression. This is just Let me know if you guys actually want me to talk about this. I was thinking of starting a segment on my channel where I talk about mental health and all the things I've learned from professionals and just from being at school. So yeah, when I was in hospital, our final tests were being written, at school, and literally it was our final test, and then straight after it was our final exam. So I missed all of that, which I was on a leave of absence, so that was okay. So while I was in hospital, I was told that they don't think I'll be able to write my final exams, like to defer them, because our deferred exams were literally in December. So when I was discharged, it was a week, and then I was writing, and obviously my brain is muddled, guys. It's a mess. I can't think, I can't remember. More than anything else, I cannot remember. So I was told to kind of extend my leave of absence and then do my second year all over again the next year. Now, if you know me, I'm someone who struggles with failure. It's something I struggle with. It's something I don't know. So that was a hard reality for me. So I decided I'm going to push myself to write, and let's see what happens. And I wrote, and unfortunately I failed one of my modules. And with medicine, you can't like carry a module over, even though it's just one. So I am repeating a whole entire module this year, just one module. And it's not even that I failed it. What happened was that with that module, you need kind of a sub minimum for each of the sections in that paper. And so I got it for the one section, but I didn't get it for the other section. But because my year mark from earlier on in the year was actually good, my mark was like above 50, but just above 50, like I think it was 52. And it was, but because of that, because that one section I had failed, they couldn't put me into the next year. And even when I rewrote it, I didn't go well. So I was extremely upset when I got my results. I cried like crazy. I thought that, the thing is, I thought that being in hospital was the worst that would have happened to me. Going through all of that was the worst. That's what I thought. I thought it couldn't get worse. And sure, it did. It really did. And I failed. And I had to come to terms with repeating second year. Just one module. I had to watch my friends be in third year, and I wasn't part of that. Hey guys, so while I'm editing, there's just something that I wanted to say, and that is that repeating just one module may have looked horrible, or repeating the whole year, whatever, but it has given me an opportunity to do a lot of like passion projects. It's given me time to really be on this healing journey and stuff like that. So it might have looked bad in the beginning, but honestly, I am really glad, because now that I think about it, like if I were to maybe have passed and gone to third year, I probably would have been set back by how much pressure is in third year. Like that means I would have jumped out of hospital, then jumped into third year. Also, if I had repeated my whole second year is very, like at Wits, it's known that second year has a lot of work. If I'd repeated the whole year, it would have been a lot as well. So yeah, it tore me apart. But for some reason, I am okay. In the beginning of the year, I just had this new, found like peace and joy. Like in the midst of the storm, I am okay. And for me, I can only give that to God. And that's why in my one video, which I will put in the cards on, on the screen, I say it is so important to have some sort of belief, because I have peace in the worst time of my life. Like I even went through heartbreak in the beginning of the year. Oh, gosh, yeah. But yeah, it was painful, you guys, because I thought things can't get worse, so just this is falling apart, but surely other things should come together. And my heart was taken out of my chest, ripped out of my chest, and put on the floor. But I'm okay, you guys. So some tips that I'll give you is like exercise, guys. I know it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, but it really does. It releases endorphins, which are happy hormones, which are good hormones. And for me, it's finding a hobby like YouTube. Find something that gives you joy. Reading, I read The Secret, and I've been reading Bible a lot. I read my Bible every day. Praying, that works for me a lot. But like I said, please watch that video of mine where I speak about the 21 things I live by, because those are the things that actually took me out of my depression. Like, yes, I still have bad days, but I don't feel as low as I did last year. And literally nothing is going the way I planned this year. Nothing in my life is going the way that I planned, but I'm okay. I'm at peace with it. I am not sad about it. So yeah, like I said, this video is just to let you know, first of all, this is the video, to let you know, please go get help. If you're not okay, don't like push it to the side. Go get help now before it gets bad, because it gets bad, you guys. So yeah, this is the sign that you needed. If you're asking for a sign, if you needed a sign, this is your video. Go receive help, please, for my sake. Don't suffer alone. And like I said, there will be numbers in my description box of helplines that you can call. For Wits students, I'll even put email addresses of people you can contact to get help. But please don't leave it till the last minute when things are just falling apart. So when I got to hospital, I was put on different types of medication, and I am still on medication, and I find that the medication that I was switched onto when I was in hospital is definitely working for me. So I'm really in a better place. I am okay, I am good, so you can be okay and good too. So it's not the end. It's not over till God says it's over, or it's not over till the fat lady sings if you don't believe in God. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I thought, you know, give you guys a little bit more about myself, you know. But yeah, like I said, I'm good, you guys. So take care of yourselves, please.